So, you finally decided to start a YouTube channel? Congratulations, that is the first step. But now you're probably wondering what equipment you need. In this video, I'm going to share with you all the equipment that I personally use for my YouTube channel. I'll suggest some other really good equipment that you could have and every little thing that you might need for your YouTube channel. You can also watch this video if you have been using maybe your phone or just something else to film and you want to upgrade your equipment. So if this seems like something you might be interested in, as well as various YouTube tips to grow your channel fast, then consider subscribing as well as the bell icon. Make sure you hit the bell because that will make sure you get notifications when I post the video, not just randomly. Without further ado, my name is Angelica. Let's get straight into the video. So if you're just starting your YouTube channel, if you've just decided you want to try this out, maybe like a side thing, or you're not sure what it's like, I suggest using what you have. I suggest you don't buy anything new just because you don't want to invest in something, especially if you invest a lot of money and then you decide it's not something you really want to do or you don't really like, or maybe you just don't have the money at this point. You might be a student or you just don't have any spare money. I suggest you start with what you have. If you have a family member, if you have a friend who has a camera that you can use, you can go ahead and use that. Almost all phones right now have HD cameras, and as you're recording, the sound is pretty good. All you might need to get yourself is a little like tripod that you can put so you don't have to bother about how your phone is standing, like leaning on books. And you can find very affordable tripods for your phone. I'll put a picture up here, and in the description box I'm also going to link some. I will link everything that I'm mentioning in this video, so make sure you check that out in the description box below. Almost everything is found on Amazon, and that's where I got everything I use, so I will link those in the description box, and just note that some of them are affiliate links. But if you've come to this video and you're ready to invest, you want to know what good cameras to get, this is the second point, which is just for you: cameras. So the camera I started my YouTube channel with is this one, and it is the Canon EOS 1200D. This is what it looks like. That is the back. It doesn't have a flip out camera or anything like this. It just has this. But if you don't have the money or you just can't find a camera that you want that has a flip out screen, all Canon cameras come with a software. I'm not sure about other cameras, but I do know that Canon cameras come with a software. It is called where you can connect your camera to your screen with a cable or using Wi-Fi. I always prefer to use a cable just in case my Wi-Fi might be slow and the connection keeps getting cut. So right now I have a USB cable attached, and on the camera I'm using, I do have a flip out screen and it's just on the side there, but I prefer to see myself on my laptop because the screen is bigger and sometimes you can see tiny things that you wouldn't really see with a flip out screen. Like if your face is just slightly out of focus, if your camera is far away from you, like right now if I do this, I still can't touch my camera. It's pretty far away from me. So even if I do that, I might not be able to see myself in the viewfinder in the corner there, that I'm not very clear. So I suggest if you're using a Canon, always put the software into your laptop. But again, if you don't have a laptop and you're using your phone, you can look in the phone. If you're using one that has a flip out screen, which is the next camera I'll talk about, you can use that. So this is the 1200D. It did its job. It is not amazing, but it is a great starting camera. I believe this is even discontinued. It is that old. I got this in 2015, I think. Let's just say 5 years ago. I got this camera about 5 years ago. I believe it's discontinued and it has been replaced with the Canon 4000D or something like that, but it's exactly the same camera. This is the kit lens that it comes with, and it can zoom in, it can zoom out, but it doesn't let in a lot of light. So this would always make me struggle because whenever it was time to film and it started to get dark, it just doesn't allow a lot of light in, even with my ring light. So I really had to upgrade. Right now, there's a very good camera. I believe it's called the Canon SL2, which is basically the best replacement for this. It's like a miniature 70D. I will put all the prices as well in the description box below. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's probably more expensive than this, but it is a really good camera. This is what I started with. The camera I use right now is the Canon 80D. I upgraded to this camera last year. I have been using this camera. I am so in love with it, and I use it with a lens that I actually bought that fits on Canon cameras, but it is not a Canon lens. I believe the brand is something like Yongno. I don't think I can pronounce this correctly, but I'll put the name and the link in the description box, as I said again. This is basically a replacement for like the nifty 50 Canon lens. It's the same kind of lens. The only problem with this lens is because it's not meant for Canon, it kind of sometimes the focus acts a little bit weird when it's a little bit too dark or a little bit too bright, but it does the job. I believe it's less than half the price of the Nifty 50 that you could get with the Canon, and it's called the Nifty 50 because this is the 50 millimeter lens, and this is a great lens to get this blurry background. Like if I come closer to the camera, you see that it will get more blurry. Can you see that? The plant is like way less in focus right now. And if I do this, I just go back into focus. And the great thing with this is it has amazing autofocus, the camera. And I can give you an example. This is my new journal. Like if I hold it right here, you can see it's basically the same focus as my face. But if I zoom you in, it's super clear. Everything else in the background, including me, is blurry. And once I move it, it goes back to my face. So it has auto tracking. So even when I'm moving, it has like a tracking shot and it follows my face. The focus is following me pretty easily. So this is what I love about this lens and this camera. This camera is also weatherproof and it is completely sealed, which means if you happen to be outside filming like in the snow or it happens to be raining, only the lens is going to be vulnerable, but the entire camera is weatherproof. So it is great. If it falls, dust is not going to go into it again, as long as the lens is not open. This is what is amazing about this camera, and the reason I decided to invest in this camera is because I prefer to invest in equipment than keep buying things over and over again. So I saved up, I saved a lot of money for this camera. I managed to get it, and I just bought the camera by itself without the lens. But if you want, you can get a camera and a lens. Sometimes you can get a better deal that way. But I just bought the camera and then I went ahead and added my own lens, which is the one I'm using that I just talked about. And I believe investing is really good if you're really committed to doing this, because even 5 years from now, 10 years from now, possibly, this camera is still going to be amazing. And whenever I want to upgrade, all I have to do is upgrade my lens because the camera body is still so amazing. It is intact, it doesn't have a scratch on it, and it is a very, very professional camera. If you're thinking of investing and going the ATD kind of route, but if you are vlogging, if you are a vlogger and you rarely do any sit-down videos, I would not suggest this camera because it is quite bulky and it is very heavy. I'm not a vlogger personally. Most of my videos are sit down, so I don't mind having this kind of camera, but right now I'm going to recommend what you can get if you want another camera like this, like for a sit down video, and other vlogging cameras, because I know a lot of YouTubers and camera professionals have recommended these. Or you can get a used camera, whether it's an 80D or a 70D for this range, the 70D and 80D and the SL2 I would suggest, but the SL2 is a pretty new camera, so I would suggest you just buy it new. But if you want a second-hand camera, I would recommend getting a second-hand 80D or 70D. You just need to go on Amazon or eBay. I'm personally pretty scared of eBay. I never order anything that's expensive from there because it just worries me. But go on Amazon, go to other sites where you can find secondhand cameras, or your local camera store whenever you have access to that. You can check out cameras that are in excellent condition, because lots of photographers swap out cameras because maybe they just wanted to upgrade to get a new one, not that it's damaged. So you can find amazing secondhand cameras and lenses as well. And then the other options I'm giving you right now would be great for both vlogging and sit-down videos. The first one is the Sony A5000 or A6500, I believe. Those are amazing cameras. They've got great autofocus. They have a flip out screen so you can see yourself while you're filming, and they are nice and small. You can carry them around and you can still interchange the lenses. The next one is the Canon G7X. This is like the ultimate vlogger camera. Almost everyone on YouTube has one. Even if they have like an ATD or something else, they usually have a G7X on the side. Again, it's not cheap. It's around $600, I believe. But again, if you're investing into this, you can save up money slowly. You can use this camera. And the next is the Canon M50, which is basically competing with the G7X. And this is a mirrorless camera. I don't want to go too much in detail into the techie stuff. I'm not a techie myself, but I like to research if I'm going to spend money on something. So if you want more information on this kind of stuff, I can get into it in a separate video, but these are just the ones I'm recommending. A mirrorless camera just basically means it doesn't have that little mirror. When you take a picture with a DSLR camera, it makes that clicking sound when the mirror flips inside the lens. Just basically just behind the lens. The mirror camera just doesn't have that. So it is amazing if you're a beginner, if you're not sure about how to use cameras. And apparently this is like the most futuristic camera. Even in the future, it's going to do very well. Most cameras are going to go mirrorless, and it has interchangeable lenses. The Canon M50 also has 4K. The ATD doesn't have 4K. For these kinds of videos, I honestly don't think I don't need 4K. Like, I don't think you need to see every freckle on my face to understand what I'm talking about when it comes to YouTube. So I really don't care that much about 4K. 1080p is good enough for me, and it doesn't take up too much space when editing and in my memory cards. So for right now, I'm still happy with this. From my research, apparently YouTube recommends videos that are in 4K a little bit above videos that are not in 4K. But honestly, if your video is not good enough and you happen to shoot it in 4K but it's boring, or you're not giving any vital information and you just don't know how to work around YouTube, it basically won't make a difference. So I just say get what makes you feel comfortable. I would recommend anything with full HD 1080p. That is what I use. Okay, so now let's get into lighting. For lighting, I use a ring light. Now, I don't use it all the time. As you guys can see, I have a big window behind me. I have a big window on the side of me right now. I'm filming in my bedroom, and I love natural light. Natural light is my favorite lighting to film in. So if you're just starting out on YouTube, I suggest you just find a place with natural light because it's the best light anyway. Unless you're in a situation where you can only film in the evening, like you have a full-time job and you work on weekends and you can only film in the evening, I would suggest you get some kind of lighting. I use a ring light. Soon enough, I want to invest in softbox lights so that I can film at any time I want, even if I'm busy, because I will be going full-time on YouTube. I have a separate YouTube channel as well where I have about 40,000 subscribers, which is why I'm sharing all my tips, because I have learned so much. But anyway, I use just the ring light. I don't have a tripod because my ring light has a stand. So right now my camera is on my ring light. Even though I don't need the light, I just don't switch it on when I don't want to use the light part of it, so I don't have to have too much equipment for nothing. There is no need for you to have a ring light stand and a tripod unless you want your ring light to be really close to your face and you want your camera to be really far from you. Then possibly you might need two stands, but I'm good just with this one. I will also suggest the newer softbox lights. I believe those are the most popular. If I find any other ones that I know are really good, I will recommend them. The next thing you need as a beginner for a YouTube channel is good audio. Now, good audio, I'm not saying you have to buy a microphone or anything like that. This is what I used to do when I just started my YouTube channel. I would use my iPhone. So I would get my camera, film on my camera, and then while I was filming, I would use my iPhone and I would just I'll just go to my little voice memos app, that one right there, and I would record my vocals. So I would put my phone just down closest to wherever I am, and then I would record on the camera. Then when I was editing, I would just put the sound and the video together. And here's just a little tip: if you don't want it to take you ages to start syncing up your sound with your audio, don't edit the audio and sound. Leave the clips as long as possible. Just clap like so. It's going to make a huge spike in your audio, and when you see your video, wherever the spikes match up, you can just link your video together there, and then you can start editing just to save some time. Just a little tip for you. But last year, again, when I got more serious with my channel and wanted to implement everything I've been learning, I decided to get myself a microphone because I think good audio is very important. Even if you're watching a movie and it has very bad sound, you won't want to continue watching the movie if the sound is really bad. So right now, I invested in a Samsung Meteor mic. I'll pick it up. Hopefully it won't affect the sound. This is what the microphone looks like. And it's a really good microphone, which is why I love it so much. So if you would like some ASMR videos, let me know. And there's also so many ASMR videos that are getting popular right now. So if you want to do ASMR, if that's your thing, you need a microphone. So this is the one I got. It is more affordable on the really good microphones list. I watched so many videos and read so many reviews to see which microphone I could get. I personally believe this is better than the Snowball Ice or just the Snowball microphone. It's like the most popular affordable microphone that's amazing quality on YouTube. I think this one is better than that. You can also get the Rode mic, the one you can just attach to your camera. I don't have that because I like to have freedom to move my camera wherever I want without worrying about the distance of my voice not reaching the microphone properly. I prefer to have a microphone that I can just move around wherever I want. You can also get a lapel mic, which is the one that you can clip to your shirt so you can move around, you can go wherever you want with your mic. The other reason I didn't get those is because although they have amazing sound and they are very affordable, I like to move around when I talk. So if I hit the mic or I'm wearing jewelry and my watch or my neck is like clinking, it's going to make really loud noises next to the mic. It'll disrupt my audio, so that's why I didn't go for that. But a lot of people do go ahead and use those. But if you're vlogging, again, please don't use one of those microphones. It's going to be catching the sound of wind and stuff when you're moving. You don't want that. Now going into my SD card. The SD card I use is by Samsung. It is a 64 GB memory card and it has the little 3 on it. That just means it's got very high speed transfers, which means if I want to start editing my video and I disconnect my SD card from the camera into my laptop, it can just send the data really fast. And it also has a longer time, like I can film for over 30 minutes without my video cutting and my camera automatically shutting off. I know that's a combination of the camera and the SD card. And getting a bigger memory card just saves a lot of time. You don't have to keep offloading content from your memory card onto your laptop while you're filming. And then for the laptop I use is a MacBook Pro. It is a 2015 one and I got it secondhand, so it has lasted me for about 3 years now. I think I've had it for about 3 years. It's a pretty good laptop. I'm going to upgrade soon. I just decided to use Apple because I know when I was in school, I got my degree for media studies and I majored in television and public relations. When we were learning everything, we learned everything on Mac, and I just thought that having a Mac was the best option for me. But if you don't need it and you're using Windows, that is fine. You can use the same kind of softwares on that. Speaking of software, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. A lot of YouTubers use Final Cut. I believe it is slightly easier to use than Premiere Pro, but I learned everything I know on Premiere Pro, so it's the easiest thing for me. And if you don't have those and you're not ready to invest in something like that, just use iMovie or Windows Movie Maker because those have the basic standard editing tips that you can use on any kind of software. It'll still give you amazing results. If you're getting value, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you're thinking of buying any of the products that I recommended in this video or you have them, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know. Hit my face right there to subscribe if you didn't in the beginning, and watch the videos on the side of the screen this side to see any of my older videos that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!